The bill for that would be another $14 trillion. So now we're talking about a hundred and no, we're talking about 34 trillion dollars right now, just poured into one particular race, and this interest is continuing to grow as the cost of living, continues to grow. So
What were some of the programs and things that he said that things that should be immediately be done?
what should immediately be done is education, medical, and housing,
Mm-hmm.
which would cure one of the things that we always talk about: food insecurities.
Well, wait a minute.
Uh,
Whoa. So, in terms of policy, education, medical, and housing, but you've got listen. So, education, yeah, you can deal with that, but for me, education is kind of like gardening with seeds, right? So you plant the seed, you gotta wait for it to sprout, you gotta wait for it to grow, then it bears fruit. If
Well,
you
not
can,
Eric, because education also means continuing education as well as life skills. So if you
correct.
people money that have never had or dealt with this large sum of money or resources, they have to have some education on how to use it.
I'm not disputing that at all, but I'm
Yeah.
saying that you have to that you can't just give them education without giving them some money too. Now, maybe you give them, maybe you don't give them all the money. You know what I mean? Is because then they'll blow all the money before they really understand. But you have to ease the financial pressure. You have to. You got to give them some money. And yeah, they're gonna, they may do some foolish things with it, but you gotta ease that, and that's got to be, I think, one of the top priorities, that people have to be given some money, and then or maybe you tether it, right, to some financial literacy program, right? So you're entitled to this money for sure, but in order to get it, you have to. But you know what? I know you can't even do
No.
that because
No.
because if I'm entitled to it, it's mine. Give it to me, goddammit. So
Exactly.
so you got to give it to people, and yeah, people are gonna make mistakes, but you got to give it. Look, at the point that if we say that there is a claim that as an American descendant of slavery, we have a claim, and that claim is acknowledged, and I need to be made whole. It's kind of like, Diane, if God forbid, well, I'm not gonna use me. Let's say somebody we don't know gets hit by a car, right? They could be the most financially illiterate person in the world, but if their lawyer gets them $15 million, they're gonna get $15 million,
Absolutely.
right?
And they get it how they see fit.
Right.
But I know what Dr. Derby talks about is not just giving a check, but yes, a check is due. So you get that in addition to. I know he's talked about free education. So when you're talking about higher education, job skills and stuff like that, the universities, and there aren't many universities in this country that have not touched or used slavery, should be pouring that back into free education for blacks.
Henceforth, the Georgetown experience. The Georgetown, where the religious rights, I think they were the Jesuits, started the university. The university was in financial ruin. So they sold 260 slaves to keep the university going.
Same with Princeton University.
Right.
Okay.
So I don't disagree. I'm simply saying you said in this order, right? You said education, medical,
Housing
and housing.
and housing, yes.
Right. And I'm
Well,
saying, so nowhere in there was, did you talk about money? And I think that money has to be in that top three. Has to
Well,
be.
he did. No, we said money, but we said as well as money. The most immediate would be medical.
Oh, as well as, I didn't
education,
hear
and
that as well as. Okay, then that's it. But yeah, money's got to be there. Money has to be there. You
Yes.
know. And yes, education. But look, I'm saying to you guys again, until such time as they have the courage. I don't even know it's about the courage.
Intestinal fortitude.
No, it's not even intestinal fortitude, Vincent. Let's be clear about this. Politicians don't act with courage. They act, they're pragmatic, right? So if the winds are blowing north, then that's the way they face.
Right.
They don't face against the wind. And so whatever the and I don't even want to call it a movement, because we call Black Lives Matter a movement. We call this stuff a movement. But when you have a constituency that is laser focused on what they want, what they demand, those politicians will respond. So it's not acting courageously. It's not intestinal fortitude. They look and say, hey, look, this is real easy. If I give them what they want, they're going to vote me back in. Right? So that doesn't take courage to do it. And so if black Americans said, right, as being the most loyal voting bloc for the Democratic Party, look, we're not going to vote for you unless you do this. It'll make it real easy. But right now they've created this confusion because black folk don't vote their interests. And so,
correct.
And so, go ahead, I'm sorry.
And the other part is this: the most talked about subject during an election period is reparation. They always say we're going to talk about it and we need to have a conversation. Instead of this, the title of the show is what, Eric?
Don't talk about it, demand it.
There you go.
So we're just talking about it again. Like, oh, okay, we're going to sit down. We're going to have another conversation. Oh, guess who's talking about it? Oh, it was on CNN. Oh, it was on C-SPAN. Oh, it was on MSNBC. Oh, guess what Rachel Maddow said about reparations?
Exactly. Don't talk about it. Demand it.
So now, once we start demanding it, right? But you know what happens when you start demanding it? Well, you become too black. You become too radical.
You blackity black.
Yeah, you blackity black.
Yeah, you blue.
Yeah.
No. What happens is when you talk about these things, they attack you and say, you're against the party. You're a Trump supporter.
Right. You get villainized.
Because that's the only response that they have, because they can't justify the reason that they're voting specifically for these candidates, Biden and Harris, because they have no other choice. But they have no choice because they make no choice. And they say, well, what's the point of us making demands? We don't have a choice.
Right.
We don't have. You want 4 more years of him killing people and doing this and doing that?
Right.
Black people. But look.
So now we're between the rock and the hard place with our vote.
Well, you call it rock. I told you, my grandfather said it's a tight place between the shit and the sweat. And that's what black people are. I am tired of not. I think I've always talked directly, right? I'm trying to talk even more directly because what I thought was direct speak apparently hasn't moved people to behave differently. And so
hey, don't make Jody call you today.
Are you saying that Jody's sitting there in the cut waiting? Got her finger on the last number, ready to dial?
She got her finger on the redial.
Yeah, man. I might be in her favorites by now, right?
This is all because of Trump. The way he handled everything, it's his fault.
Okay.
For him.
Yeah. Well, I mean, he let me put it this way. I'm a firm believer that everybody has a level of culpability, but him being the leader should, handle the brunt of the responsibility.
The buck stops with him, is what you're saying.
Yes.
Yeah.
It should have stopped with him. Mm-hmm. Definitely. But in terms of actually speaking directly, I can't say this enough. We need to now get stronger involved in this political process, especially our local politics, because our lives truly depend on it. I mean, literally. I mean, we're wearing masks. We're sheltering in place. Our food. Oh, by the way, they've also did a report talking about the price of food, how much it has went up during this COVID virus. We're looking at limitations in supply. You know, we're looking at now facing another year with us, with our children doing distance learning. Our living room will continue to be.
With all of that, we're also looking at opportunities, because whenever there's a depression, whenever there's a recession, there's opportunity for growth.
Oh, you know what, Diane? Speaking of opportunity, please make a mental note that we talk after the show. Since prices have gone up, we got to reconfigure our numbers at Grandma Emma's. Peaches have gone up. Come on, y'all.
Yeah.
No, seriously, they have.
But and Diane, you're right, because IBM, Xerox, Microsoft, all of them have been started during the most worst times in our economic history.
So the question to ask is, are the Democrats and Republicans, are they a cult?
Yes, they do have some cult-like tendencies. Some members of them are a cult.
Yes.
And some of them are led like sheep to the slaughter.
Well, look. Well, what is the true definition of cult?
A cult is a group of people.
No. I want to Google the definition. I want to read the actual definition. What we got?
I asked that question on Facebook yesterday, and 95% said yes.
I said, yeah.
And that comes behind. Have you seen the show The Family on Netflix, Eric?
No.
Okay, so Kevin told me about it some time ago. I didn't watch it, but I watched it.
Oh, wait a minute. Is that where they have whatever that in Washington? They have whatever that. Yeah. So I wouldn't call it a cult. I would call it like a secret society, not a cult.
In particular, I would call a cult because they base that specifically on Christian religion. As using the religion as the equalizer to bring people across the aisle to speak to each other. To have a place where they can talk about Jesus without the interference of government or anything else. And through it, they say they are allowed to have these conversations, but nothing is, they don't push the congressman to do anything. But of course, they work in these circles together, and you can see how they vote, how they bring up different issues, what they're pushing.
Well, you know what? So I'll agree with you, because I wanted to pull up the actual definition. Go ahead, you got it.
Webster and Wikipedia have two different or similar definitions. Webster, no description of the word cult is said as a religious practice that are conventionally without their culture or related to particular figures and often associated with particular places. Catholics, imperialism, ancient Rome, etc. Now, Wikipedia in modern English is the social group that defines itself by its usual religious, spiritual, or philosophical beliefs, or by its common interest in a particular personality, object, or goal.
Well, then yes. Yeah. Right, because so we say personality, object, or goal. So each of the parties have a particular goal, right? And so their philosophy is driven by what their particular goal is. And so by definition, then I would say that yes, they are a cult.
And one of the biggest mechanics of a cult is the charismatic personality, the person that they're following.
Oh, so that would be Bill Clinton when he was on Arsenio Hall playing the saxophone, or Obama when he gave the little wink and the little whatever, right? Or
Jim Jones.
Or Jim Jones and the Kool-Aid.
Adolf Hitler, Stalin,
Trump. Right? Yeah. And now, they try to shake Biden, right? Well, he's not. Yeah, I don't know.
Correct. So people are not following, or they follow a portion of the ideology, but majority of it are following the personality.
Right. And going back to Democrats and Republicans being cults and people not being individual thinkers, going back to why we can't change things, because people are unable to listen to other people's point of view because they're stuck on being an elephant or a donkey.
Mm-hmm.
Mm.
Yes. Yes. And the problem that we have with being stuck on an elephant or a donkey is that there's a hierarchy of personalities that are actually driving the narrative. And that's what we run into. We cannot get good black candidates because, well, one, we're afraid that they're going to be just like the white ones, and two, the white people are telling you that they're going to be worse than the white ones. The other issue that we're looking at in terms of being an E or D is the personality driving the narrative. Like Trump started off with being the savior of the world. And he said, I and only I am the chosen one to take you out of all of this, and we see what we get into.
So going back to Family on Netflix, they talked about how they are overtly in the dark with this organization, an organization that they don't want to give a title to, organization that they say is not an organization, that they're not priming men and women for different government positions, but in essence, they have this annual presidential prayer breakfast, which allows people to come, that they invite. They say they invite people, so you can't you can't buy a ticket. You have to be invited to come. And specifically for them to, under the auspice of Jesus, but of course there's always something more to it than just the religion, because then they have the multiple breakouts, workshops, of course, filtered with religion of Jesus throughout the day. However, they have opportunities for people from countries all over the country. They invite people, diplomats, ambassadors, to come and do stuff or to connect with people and network in the United States.
Yes, they do. And it is in the 80s, it was the height of your career to be invited to the prayer breakfast. Now, because after that breakfast and the workshops and the networking, things move. And it does not always move to the positiveness of humanity and society. That was the whole. But they're so powerful that no one has been able to shut them down.
Well, who can shut down God? When you're working on the opposites of everything is religion, and this is a safe place to have conversation about Jesus. How can you shut that down when you have people who believe in Jesus and are following along with what the direction in which they're doing it?
Our history has proven that there are wolves in sheep's clothing. There are plenty of people who are talking about come and let's talk about Jesus. But once you get there, Jesus is in the narrative, but then it changes to something different, something more sinister. That's the whole issue of it.
Well, I don't know if it changes to something sinister, but the purpose of it, of course, is to use religion as the bridging gap to keep everybody together. But the government and getting done, their purpose is to have their hands and everything so they can control everything, of course. Mm-hmm. So the purpose is not, I don't think it's that way.
Well, there's no fulfillment on the purpose. The purpose is religion. But yet they're not, here, how do I explain it? With religion, it's not the denomination, okay? It's the application. Whether you're Muslim, Christian, Baptist, Buddhist, or any of the religious disciplines, it's not the denomination. It's how you use what you're learning to be a better person. How you're using what you're learning to better the world. So they're coming in on religion, but are they doing in this prayer breakfast? But are they doing anything after this to better mankind, or are they just doing it to control these world leaders?
Well, they're doing it to control. Everybody does for control. Everybody's always fighting for control. So we have the cabinet roles, the Senate seats. What could be next for the women Biden didn't choose? So there was an article in CNN Politics. It talked about the various different people that were on the list, the short list, long list, however you want to look at it, to see exactly where were they going from here. Specifically, we had Michigan Governor Gretchen Whitman, who was the co-chair for Biden's campaign. You have Karen Bass, the California representative, who was the chairwoman of the Congressional Black Caucus. You had Senator Tammy Duckworth, who was from Illinois, Atlanta Mayor Keisha Lance Bottoms, Florida Val Demings. You know, like, do you suspect that any of these women will be sprinkled throughout his cabinet, or will he just drop them because he's no longer needing them until after the campaign is over?
I believe that, yeah, these women are getting a job. But one of the biggest things there are two things that are happening. One is the fact of Biden looking for the women vote. The second thing is that what they're doing is now working hard at uniting the Democratic Party. And in uniting the Democratic Party, of course, getting the majority of the vote, which are black women, is crucial. The other aspect is that you've got the old guard coming in there, or which used to be the new guard. So one of the biggest behind the door organizers and supporters and gatherer of these people are the Obamas and the Clintons. I mean, they have their hand in just about every part of this. So
well, there has been some reports that Obama said in private to someone that he voiced some concern about Joe Biden, you know, effing things up. Like, you need to be careful.
Yeah.
As to the reason why he didn't initially come out to give any support, that he was very private about, you know, pushing Biden, and he wanted people to know in this private conversation that he had to not underestimate his abilities to mess things up.
Well, you can't underestimate anybody's abilities to mess things up. And something about, and Diane, you know, running from office, that you get that period where you go through the silly seasons, where you know you should be silent, but something is just so stupid, and you address it, and it begins to get a negative effect on you, or downslide. So yeah, there is the possibility of him messing it up. And you look at Joe health, age, and mental capacity. You know, sometimes he's forgetting. Sometimes sometimes he's tired.
Sometimes.
I mean, we all get that, where we're overworked and tired. And campaigning takes a great deal of endurance. So yeah, he has the capacity of screwing this up.
Well, wait a minute. Whoa. So if we're gonna say, you know where I'm going with this, Diane. If you're going to say that the campaigning is grueling and tiring, then being the president, the weight of all of that is a more arduous task than campaigning. So if we're to conclude that all of the fatigue that we see, the forgetfulness, all of this is attributed to some level of stress on the campaign trail, then we can expect it to show up exponentially if he is elected president. Are we not?
True.
Right. So then aren't we? Then shouldn't we see? And I want to say this. And this is the part that I find absolutely disgusting about the Democratic Party and disgusting about the liberal media. Now, I got my issues with the Republican Party and and Fox News. I guess that's their media, right? But they talked ad nauseum when Donald Trump was talking about the oranges of the investigation, right? And they were talking about his mental capacity, right? They were saying they were doing all that. They had psychologists and psychiatrists and other medical doctors come on to talk about what might be going on with Donald Trump's in terms of his mental faculties. Not one time has that media that scrutinizes him so much said anything about Joe Biden? And I'm simply saying, come on, guys, you can't tell me that you don't see it. You can't tell me that. And so, if your issue is the safety of this nation, if your issue is all those things, it should be bipartisan, right? You should just look fair down the middle and say, yo, he might be batshit crazy, and we're about to elect him, or we're pushing him to be president of the United States.
Well, during our course, two things that you're looking at. One, that the presidential race is a sprint. Being president is a marathon. Two different things, or two different disciplines, and he has to be able to do both. What we also noticed and saw is that every first-year president starts off looking nice, fresh, young. By the end of their first term, their hairs are white. You remember first term Obama?
No, I understand that, but my point to you is this. So you already have it, again, based on what you're saying. Then Biden is already operating at a deficit, right? And so it's going to accelerate. He's already got hair plugs. So forget. Yo, do you remember that whole phase where he was getting a hair plug?
Dye Reagan had.
What?
Look at all that hair dye Reagan had.
No, I'm not talking about hair dye. I'm talking about hair plugs.
Yeah.
He's got hair plugs. You don't remember he went through that whole hair plug thing? It looked god awful.
Yeah.
But anyway, but the truth of the matter is, Rachel Maddow, for all of her investigative reporting and all that kind of stuff, who's telling her not to talk about this? Lawrence O'Donnell, who's telling him not to talk about it?
The Biden team.
Yeah. See.
Yeah.
So what I'm saying is, and we were talking off air, Vincent, and you were saying how the Clintons and the Obamas and all these people have been behind this for the last 2 years, orchestrating it, right? And not just orchestrating it within the campaign, but also orchestrating what the media puts out. See, remember I said to you guys, they're building a narrative and a brand that they're going to sell to you, right? They're painting a pretty picture and all that stuff. So from the very first day, when Biden ran, remember he took those 3 energetic steps up the stage with the sunglasses on, Joe Cool, right? That was the image. They said this. They sat in a think tank and said, okay, this is what we, and I'm sure that people raised their hands and no, glasses on, glasses off. Is he going to trot across the stage? Is he going to do this? Is he going to do that? And they determined what he was going to do. And they said, this is what we can sell to these dumbass people. And that's what they did. And now, hook, line, and sinker, we're gobbling it up.
Well, here is the national narrative. And it wasn't, and this narrative wasn't created by the Biden team or the Clintons or the Obamas. This narrative was given and put in their lap by Trump's team. It is this: Biden is our best choice to save America or to be better as a leader.
No. Well, no. Understand this. Biden let me ask you a question. During the primary, was Biden the best choice?
No,
okay.
not in my eyes.
Okay.
No, the people who were the best choice lost.
No, but why? So I want to go down this a little bit for you.
The media pushed him.
Right, but why they lose? Who told you they lost? Who took your power?
Media.
Wait, no, Diane, let me finish. Who took your power away from being able to still vote for the person you thought was the best candidate? So collectively, wait a minute. So collectively, if people believe that this person's the best candidate, you had somebody else tell you, no, we believe this person is, and this is the person that we're going to put in front of you, and then in the end, right, we're going to convince you to vote for our person, not your person. And that's all I'm saying that happened. That all of these people looked and said, he was all these things that we said he is, but somehow now we all got replugged back into the matrix. and now we're all herded. It's crazy to watch. When you're on the outside and you're watching this, because I'm on the outside, and I'm watching it, and I'm going, oh my God, it's crazy to watch.
Well, let's look at the Democratic primaries, where we had so many Democrats that split the actual vote. All right, then it narrowed down to the top 5. Okay, and out of the top 5, the biggest 2 were still competing against each other. Sanders and what's her name? What is her name? Oh, God.
Warren.
Yes, Warren. And then you had Amy creeping up. Now, Joe Biden came in there, and his campaign was on life support until the Super Tuesday, where he just blew everybody out of the water. And then it got to the point where the others were so split in terms of their numbers that they couldn't catch up. There just weren't enough primaries. And then the COVID virus hit. So he was heir apparent. And then you also have to look at Black America, look at Joe Biden as the heir apparent who should have ran instead of Hillary Clinton. He would have won. So that's how it shaped into us being left with Joe Biden.
Let me ask you a question. I'm gonna ask you this question, right? I'm making a prediction, and I'm not. I'm not a Swami or anything. I'm just following 400 years of Black Americans being here. I think what is going to be the rationale or the excuse in 4 years when black people haven't advanced one bit under this administration if he wins? Hold on. Let's take this call, and I want you to answer that, Vincent. Call or go.
Good morning, everyone. How y'all doing today?
Good morning.
Vince, I just heard you say something, right? You gave credit to Super Tuesday as being the rebirth of Joe Biden's campaign for this presidential run. If you remember what it was, right, it was a black man, right? Yeah, who held his hand and spit by him, and that's what pushed him, and the media pushed back.
Exactly, but it led to that. But yes, and he did endorse him in the Carolinas, and we're talking about Clyburn.
Fish fry Clyburn.
Exactly.
Yeah, we're talking about him. Yeah,
exactly. So the reason I'm saying that is,
but it wasn't just Clyburn; it was Clyburn and Obama.
Okay, either way, what it was black fools. Let's be honest, right? Us not taking accountability and protecting ourselves. That's what it was. Well, and we continue to do that. We're doing that now with Kamala Harris. Right? Or Kamala, however you pronounce her name. I mean,
Kamala.
Right? Well, we're okay. Kamala.
Okay,
I respect
Kamala.
Kamala.
Well, we are, and that's part of it. We are in this position by 2 things. One, the simple fact that we voted for our ability to vote or not vote during the primary, and 2, the COVID virus. This is what led us to this. The whole thing is...
No, you know what led us to it? No. What led us to it is this. And I'm going to repeat what my father continued to repeat to me. Those who we won't let die won't let us live. We won't let Fish Fry Clyburn die. We won't let him die. We keep breathing life into him, and so he will never let us live, because his living in politics is more important than us. See, we have to be courageous enough to kick his ass to the curb and let him die off. We won't do that.
I am not disagreeing with that. And I'm also going to add something else. There are a lot more than Clyburn that we need to.
No, you heard me right. I'm saying Clyburn, right? But those Clyburn-like people, right? We won't let them die. We keep in the 10th congressional district here in New Jersey. We won't let him die off.
Oh, we won't let Cory Booker die.
We won't let Cory Booker die off.
And he's positioning himself for a cabinet.
Right. So we won't let them die off, and they'll never let us live.
There you go.
Do you understand that? They'll never let you live. That is not in their political nature to do.
True. true.
So that is it. That's the thing. So we have to finally take a stand, and we have to say, you know what? Enough is enough is enough. Go somewhere and die off.
What we have to do,
But right now, go ahead.
for right now, we've got short-term goal and long-term
Right,
goal.
but this is my point to you, Vincent. So no. So this short-term goal that we think we have, and then a long-term goal. So the way that the party works and the way that the system works, right, is they're going to be propping up all of these people. They're propping up the Donald Payne that we say has to die off. They're propping up the Cory Booker that we say has to die off. They're propping up all of these people, and then all of these folks become stronger and more entrenched Negro whisperers as a result of what we're about to do. Right, and then after we do it, we go, okay, you know what? We're gonna go and vote this way. We're gonna watch the Democratic Party strengthen our enemies, right? In the Cory Bookers and in the Clyburns and in the Donald Paynes and the rest of them, right? They're gonna strengthen all of them. And then somehow, after we go vote in November, we're gonna go to war with these people who have now been strengthened by the Democratic Party. That is the pure definition of insanity.
No, it's
Of
not
course.
a cult. It's cult-like action.
Yes. Because
what's going to win? Let me ask you a question,
we're
Vincent.
all wrapped up in these charismatic individuals.
No, Vincent, what's going to happen? What's going to happen during midterms, right? What's Joe Biden if he happens to win the election? Which I'm telling you, Donald Trump, don't sleep on him. But if Joe Biden happens to win during the primaries, what do you think Joe Biden's going to do?
Well, during the primaries, what Joe Biden...
I'm sorry, not the primaries, the midterms.
During the midterms, after he wins this, during the midterms, what he's going to do is all those people that have been propping him up, he is now going to return the favor and work and promote.
So let me ask you a question: Do you think? So now I'm looking at people like Ilhan, Rashid, and I gotta get.
You're looking at the squad.
I'm looking at the squad, not just a squad, but let's start with them, and let's start with other courageous, progressive folks who, swam upstream and defy the odds, and they're in there trying to kick down doors and and tear down the system. What do you think that he's going to be doing?
Well,
he's going to oppose all of them.
There are two theories, Eric. One is this: Joe Biden is part of the progressive movement that was speared or spun off from the Obama movement. So, with Warren and a couple of others that were with him, that were campaigning against him, are now joining his cabinet and uniting the progressive into it. But the other thing that you have to look at in terms of what you said earlier, during the midterms when he supports them, okay, the old machine which you did eloquently state has now changed because we're in a COVID-19 environment. So the old machine of them going out and supporting these people, that's over. Now, the new group, and in terms of the long-term plan, is for those people to now start on their campaign doing for the midterm. Let's look at now looking at who wants to come in, what is their position and platform, how are they going to help push this agenda, how are their values in line with ours, and how are they in terms of getting the old people out. For right now, okay, we have to now focus on the short term of getting Trump out. Second, let's focus on the long term and who's coming next. So we need to start voting these other people out, getting ready to vote these other people out who are just slipping in right now.
Right. So again, listen to what you're saying. So you're saying that you want to try to dissect this thing with a precise scalpel that says, because these were your words, cut off the head and the rest will fall, right? But
correct.
In this case, you want to prop up the head, which is Joe Biden, right? And then you hope to be able to destroy the body. So, right? No. Like, come on now.
Right church, Eric, just wrong pew.
Come on.
I'm saying cut off the head, which is Donald Trump.
No! Are you kidding me? Wait, now you believe Donald Trump is the head? Are you serious?
Donald Trump is the head.
Are you serious?
Eric, don't make Jody call you.
Are you serious? Donald Trump is the head. No, Jody's gonna call, and you know what she's gonna do? She's gonna rebuke you. Are you serious?
Okay.
You believe that Donald Trump in 3 years has become the head of this thing? That when we talk about oligarchs, when we talk about the corporation white supremacy, when we talk about this structural system, you think Donald Trump is the head of that? Are you kidding me?
What I'm saying to you in terms of the oligarchs, when we're talking about this structural white supremacy, what we're talking about is this institutional racism. What we're talking about, all those ills right now rest on his side.
I see Jody got her finger on the dial. She don't know what to do right now. I can see her over. I can see her all the way in the Carolina. But listen, look.
So I'm saying cut that head off.
No, listen.
Now, what I'm saying also is now we start because you know that the machine and the mechanics and the parts are all in place for this election. Let's now focus on the next election, getting the right people in, getting the right people funded, and giving them a fighting chance against the machine.
Dude.
Now, Eric, I want to do
that's
it strategically,
insane.
I want to use a scalpel, and you want to use dynamite.
Right, because what I understand is this. I understand that it is a cancer that has metastasized through everything. And so you need something equivalent to chemotherapy, right? Which is exactly that. It's like dynamite. It blows it all up.
Okay, we're saying the same thing. I'm just saying use a smaller dose.
No, but you can't. I'm saying this is stage 7 cancer. That's it. Right? So you're saying, well, okay, use a smaller dose. So I'm saying no, but it's spreading too rapidly. Right? Okay. And right now, as we speak, look at what's happening. It's spreading, right? So now you got this guy in New Jersey that we all have been saying is a complete and utter failure, and I'm talking about Phil Murphy. I don't know what that. Please mute your phone. Right, but we say Phil Murphy's a complete and utter failure, right? But Phil Murphy is now positioning himself because of what's going on, right? And the party is going to position him, and the party is going to be in support of him, and you're supporting the party that's supporting Biden, but then you're going to be against, you're going to be against right. Yeah. And I'm saying it doesn't work, right? I'm saying it doesn't work. It does not work. It's never worked. So wait a minute. Can I say this to you?
Okay.
It has never worked. You show me where it's worked. What you want to do, you show me where it's worked. You can't.
So
it hasn't.
Okay. Well,
the Democratic Party holds it together.
What?
And the Democratic Party holds it together.
Hold what together?
Hold it together with Biden until the election.
No, I'm telling
you. Do you think they have enough steam? Because now you're starting to see Pete Buttigieg is now doing infomercials for them to give money to the campaign. You have Elizabeth Warren doing infomercials. You have Schumer doing infomercials. Stacey Abrams doing infomercials to pull money into the Democratic Party.
Right. So what I'm saying to you is this. I want you to understand.
Hold on, real quick.
It's not gonna be quick, but go ahead. What?
This weekend, in 30 seconds, this weekend I saw a Zoom meeting with President Obama, and off of that Zoom meeting, he raised $7 million.
Right, but my point to you is this. So understand what I'm saying to you again. Where you had prior to, like during the primary, where you had this whole discussion about being independent from big money, and we talk about it here, right? that candidates are purchased through this money, right? We're now praising the fact that Obama raised $7 million in a Zoom meeting. We're praising it now. But 4 months ago, we were saying it's the evilest thing in the world, right? So now the system is on steroids in terms of rate. Let me finish, but just go ahead, Vincent. Go ahead.
Two different things, okay?
No, it's
we
not.
Are saying that yes, Eric, it's two different things. We're talking about one, the machine in which corporations were giving these people large sum of monies, and what Obama did was a system of individuals giving money.
Okay, so now you have more well-off, well-educated people that are giving money into the Democratic Party. Does that mean that the party is now going to change, or who it represents?
See, Vincent, you're selling a bunch of shit, Vincent. So let me ask you a question. Let me ask you a question, Vincent. Let me ask you a question.
Can I ask you guys a question?
No. Let me ask Vincent this question first. Vincent, let me ask you a question. Where do you think the bulk of the money is coming? Because they see, and Donald Trump doesn't hide the fact that he's pulling all this money in from corporate and wherever, right? In order for the Democratic Party to match what Donald Trump's been raising, where do you think the bulk of the money is going to come from now? What do you think?
The same thing with the Obama campaign.
See, this is a long answer.
It's not the answer that you want me to say.
Where's the bulk of the money going to come from, Vincent?
You have to look at it just like the AOC, where she said that I don't have to listen to these because I'm backed by individuals, not corporations.
Wait a minute. You think that right now the bulk of the money from Biden is going to come from individuals?
You know what I'll do is when we get off the show, I will check and see who his campaign donors are and supporters, because Donald Trump right now got one of his mega supporters as the Postmaster General.
I'm not saying he doesn't. My point to you is this. In order for them to accelerate the fundraising, right, to accelerate it, yeah, they're going to do these things, but to me, this is maximum sophisticated confusion, right? So they want to try to convince you through whatever Elizabeth Warren does now, and I'm disappointed in Bernie Sanders. I'm disappointed in all of them now, right? Because they're feeding the beast that we were trying to destroy. If you don't kill them off, my father said, those who you won't let die off won't let you live. And we have decided to resuscitate the beast. So what's happening now is this maximum sophisticated confusion that says, oh, well, we got small donations, right? Meanwhile, they're shoveling truckloads of cash from corporate.
I'm going to tell you where the money is coming from. 94 different billionaires.
Thank you. See, and Vincent, you won't just answer that straight question because you're part of the sophisticated confusion. You see, so you want to know. No, wait a minute, Vincent. So you want to cherry pick the facts and you want to talk about what Obama did. Talk about these billionaires. Have that conversation. And wait a minute. Let me go a little bit further and then you can have the mic. I'm going to go get another drink. So Elizabeth Warren, who was talking about billionaires. Where the hell is she now talking about billionaires? This is my problem.
Because now Elizabeth Warren is a millionaire.
No. Elizabeth Warren is going to get a cabinet position, God damn it.
Mm-hmm.
That's it. Mm-hmm. Come on, Vincent. Get on code.
Oh, I know Elizabeth Warren is going to get a cabinet position. That's part of uniting the actual the Democratic Party. And we talked about that.
That's the part of giving more power to the cult. It's not about uniting. It's about feeding.
That's exactly what it is. It's about self-service. It's about what she can get for herself now instead of making a sacrifice for others. That's what's happening right now. Come on.
Okay, and you know what? I cannot dispute that. And
right.
And I'm not disagreeing with that. But what I'm saying to you right now is that is in terms of our short-term goal, it's effective. So our enemy, or the enemy of my enemy, is my friend.
No, and what I'm saying to you is my enemy is the entire system. My enemy is not Donald Trump. My enemy is Elizabeth Warren now because we know she's self-serving. My enemy is all of these self-serving people because what do I know? As long as they're self-serving, the 99% will suffer. That's it.
Now let me ask you this question, Eric. What can we do right now in terms of the short term in defeating the enemy? Because now we've got 4 of them.
Right, but here's what I'm saying, Vincent. So
No,
I'm gonna answer your question. I'm answering a question. See, what you have been conditioned to do, institutionalized to think, is that we have this false choice. I'm saying we can still do what we were doing prior to them convincing you that the only person you can vote for is Biden. We can we can still do, but your belief is, because they've institutionalized you, is that we have no more choices.
Eric, tell me. Green Party, no. Who can we vote for right now that can win?
Ask the question.
You asked the question, Vincent, but you don't want the answer.
I want the answer.
No, you don't.
I can win.
He just told you, but you're talking over him because you don't want to hear the goddamn answer.
The only person that wins is the person that gets enough votes. So if enough dissatisfied people vote for the Green Party, maybe the Green Party will win. See, you're making it sound like these others are guaranteed to win. They're only guaranteed to win if people don't change. If the voter doesn't change. If the voter starts to vote their interest, starts to vote a different way, anyone can win. Vincent Squire can win. That is the whole...
But we've given up.
I appreciate the endorsement, and I agree with you. Okay, I agree with you.
Here comes the big but
and the ideology. But let me
say
this to you.
Yeah.
The Green Party, the Libertarian Party, the Self-Righteous Party, the Alt-Right Party, all of those people who have people on the ballot right now, and Kanye West, all those people who are going on the ballot right now, tell me who is the bulk of America going to vote for to defeat Donald Trump?
Well,
because they're listening to you.
Right, but the idea, wait a minute.
America is listening to your...
Farrakhan, wait a minute.
But
Farrakhan's
logic, one of those other people might win.
Farrakhan, wait a minute. But again, to me, it ain't about defeating Donald Trump. It's about fighting for economic and political power. So ask that question. See, when you phrase it the way that you just did, well, who are we going to vote for to do this thing? That's not gonna. Wait a minute. Wait a minute.
Okay, go ahead.
Dude, stop it, Vincent. Stop. Right. So it's not about. It's got to be about us, right? You keep deflecting and removing our interests off the table for somebody else's interest. My interest is. Let me finish.
Okay, go ahead. Let me know when you're done.
Okay, I'll let you know. I'll literally say I'm done now. So our interests have to be economic and political power. Anything else puts us on a back burner, kicks the can down the road another 20, 40 years. Right? And so what you keep saying is this, well, who's going to defeat Donald Trump? And I'm going, well, where am I hearing about black Americans? I don't hear about it. You go next time. We'll talk about that next time. Let's get this done, and then we'll talk about it later on down the road. I said, that has not worked. It has never worked. Now I'm done.
Okay. Under this present administration, we have gotten less economic and political power. Okay? So, voting him in for another 4 years goes against the black interest. The other point.
What? No, let him finish, because I'm going to tear this shit apart. Go ahead, Vincent, finish. Because then I'm going to ask you for facts.
Less in the last 3 years, or we've had less in the last 400 years?
We've had
a comparison, because 3 years he has done nothing compared to the senators and the congressmen who have been in there 30 plus years.
Under the present administration, answer the question.
Are you referring to Joe Biden when you say the people of the last 30 and 40 years? Because that's what it sounds like.
Yes.
No, right. I'm not going back 30 or 40 years. What I'm talking about is what I'm talking about is our short-term goal. I'm talking about right now, November. What has Donald Trump did or performed or did anything to progress black getting economic and political power?
No, let me ask you this question, Vincent.
Answer that.
No. I'm going to say he's done nothing. But let me answer. See, I can answer your questions directly. Now I'm going to ask you to do this for me. So he's done nothing. But I'm asking you this question. Tell me, has the racial wealth gap increased under Donald Trump?
I don't have.
There we go. Now, wait a minute. Right. So my point to you is this. Wait a minute. Give me 1 second. So I'm looking at these indicators. Has Donald Trump accelerated the zero wealth by 2053 in the black community?
Can't answer it.
Right. Has Donald Trump accelerated the fact that we're heading for an apartheid state?
Yes.
I need you to give me the metrics.
Okay, here's the metrics of us heading to apartheid.
No, that he has accelerated it from where it was before his 3 years.
Okay, where he has accelerated? Really simple. COVID-19. How did he accelerate it? Because no. He had an opportunity to stop it. And we've had presidents who had pandemics coming to us, and they did everything possible to stop it. So he was responsible for that. Okay, let me break it, calm it down. But now, with that, the disproportionation of black deaths and black contraction of it is more than enough for him to accelerate the apartheid state.
Okay, can I respond to that?
Go ahead.
Go ahead.
Was it not the disproportionate for the very diseases that they died from? Now, whether you can say it's COVID related or not, for the actual diseases that those people died from, were black people dying at a disproportionate rate? Do they die at a disproportionate rate of heart disease? Do they die at a disproportionate rate of cancer? Do they die at a disproportionate rate of diabetes? And if the answer is yes, then what you just said was wrong.
That's absolutely correct.
The answer is yes, but they died at an accelerated rate because of the COVID. No. They have been dying.
Die from it disproportionately.
Can I answer your question before you cut me off?
Doesn't matter. Yes, no. It can't.
If my answer doesn't matter, then why pose a question?
Because you made the statement, and I'm clarifying for the rest of the world to hear that what the statement you made was wrong.
Oh, okay.
What said? Okay. Was that okay? Yes, they will. When you already said no, they were. If they were not, if we as black people are dying disproportionately in just about every category, medically speaking, okay, versus whites in America, okay, and if that is the case, it does not matter what kicks it up today. We're still going to die disproportionately. Now, can I finish? We're going to die more of us, but then guess what? More white people just died.
No. But we're dying at a disproportionate rate, and it's elevated, and it's kicked up to the COVID virus. That does make him comfortable to it.
White people died. Guess what? More white people died this year.
No.
COVID-19
No, white people are not dying at the rate of black people due to this disease. Now that part is totally wrong.
I did not say they were. I said that they died also. See, what you're failing to understand, and I told you this on that post, I said you don't know how to comprehend. Okay? You said we died at a disproportionate rate. I said we died at a disproportionate rate, period. Then you said that we're dying because of COVID-19. I said, so are white people. So either way you looked at it, more white people died this year than last year because in the same time frame, because they had COVID-19.
See, now that is a half statement. More white people have died of the COVID-19. The other half of that is that black people have been dying disproportionately to the white people from the COVID-19.
But we've already established that, you idiot.
1 second. So, to be accurate about the information, let's give accurate information. The reason that black people have been disproportionately dying is because of the health care and access to health care. It has nothing to do with whatever disease came along. It's access to health care. That is a problem that started with the Senate and the Congress because is too expensive and does not afford health care for everybody. It has absolutely nothing to do with Trump.
Okay, wait a minute. We got another caller. Let's take the other caller. Caller, go.
Good morning. This is Jody. I felt like I would call and help my boy.
Hey. Good morning, Jody.
We can't hear you, Jody.
I'm sorry, I have a mask on. I said, stop beating up on my boy Vince. I called in to protect him from you.
Sorry, fellas.
It's okay.
Nah, it's all right, Jody. Jody, if you ever see me in a fight with a bear, help the bear, baby. But go ahead.
Right. So,
I can't hear you.
But I think that one, you talked about the billionaires, so I was in an Uber, so I'm trying to get my thoughts together. I don't think that it's fair to talk about money that's raised in a campaign, because that's how we run campaigns. And at that level, to expect or not to expect that large donors will put in money, that's become the American way of how we campaign, especially at that level. And that's on both sides of the aisle. That is most people. I think AOC was some kind of different situation, but I think in large part, Eric, I don't think that we're going to see that, right? The $5 that make it, and I don't think you're being fair to the fact that the Democratic Party started late, right? So much later than they should have. They started late. That has to happen. All right, that's one.
Well, Jody, that money and donations determine who's influencing
That's
what laws
correct.
are being passed.
So then we're prepared to say,
So
wait a
when
minute.
Elizabeth Warren
So Jody, so
I'm not
we're
taking
prepared to
large
say then.
donation.
So
Go ahead,
we're prepared to say, right? And so let's have the honest conversation. We're now prepared to say that the 99% is handing over, right, influence to big corporations again. That's what we're prepared to say. See, so when you say to me, well, Eric, we understand that this is how it goes. Well, the way that it then goes is that big corporation continues to keep its heel and its knee on the necks of the 99%. So let's acknowledge that. And let's move on and not have any expectations that for black people or poor people for the next 4 years. So game over.
And you know what, Eric, listen, I'm prepared to agree to that, right? And I'm totally prepared to agree with that. But that's where we are. And
wow,
you're talking about this large conversation, right, that can't happen in 83 days, right?
Wow.
We can't change it now.
Wow.
We have not the possibilities, the capabilities to change it in 83 days. So I'm just asking for like a little bit of realism in it, right?
Thank you, Jody.
Everything
wow.
you're saying,
So realism is, so you know what this sounds like? So this is like the epitome of Negro whispering that says, you know what, you're on a plantation, understand that right now you ain't gonna get off, you know, don't even try. So like
Excuse me, Jody. That's not the epitome of Negro whispering.
No.
That's reality.
No.
She's right.
So here's the reality, right?
Excuse
So
me, Jody.
it makes me
Can I ask
think
you a question,
about.
Jody? Hold on, let Eric talk.
It makes
please.
me think. It makes me think about the docu-series Roots, right, where LeVar Burton's character, or not LeVar Burton. I think it was John Amos's character, right, that ultimately got his foot lopped off because he kept trying to run off the plantation, right? And so for people who kept saying to him, why are you doing this? Don't do this. It's like the reality is like you can't get off. You should just stay here. Now's not the time for you to do that. Now's not the time for you to try to escape the plantation, right? And there was something inside of him that said, no, we got to keep going. We got to keep pushing. We got to keep trying. And you guys are saying, no. Just sit under the sleeping willow right now.
Eric,
catch some shade, right?
So
Hey, can I ask you, Eric, what we're saying to you, Eric, is not the simple fact of don't fight. What we're saying to you is the fight has to deal with timing. And 83 days, we don't have the timing to get it.
Well, but
that's what we're saying. To that point, can I ask Jody a question?
Yeah, go ahead.
To the point of what you said about the 83 days, right? And I agree with you. 83 days isn't. But are the two people the Democratic Party are trying to push forward into the White House, will they get it done in those 1,600 days? So that's the thing. It doesn't matter.
Well, let her answer the question. Let her answer the question.
That's a metric. That's a metric.
Let her
right
answer
now
the
we
question.
don't know.
But he asked her a question. Let her answer the question.
Go ahead, Jody.
So I don't know, right? And I, like I said, I'm not trying to like promote either. I'm just, I'm not just feeling one, but I'm just saying to you, I don't know that answer. What I'm saying is I don't want Eric to think that I'm like, oh, okay, we can't change it. Yeah, we can. Yeah, we can, and it has to be a much better structured philosophy first for Black people, right? I believe that we can make those changes. I actually believe we're closer to making those changes than any time in history because, or my history, let's say, because we're seeing small, they're not great, but we're seeing small systemic changes or the rally of the troops to see those systemic changes, right? Am I saying that Biden and Kamala Harris are going to save Black folks? Nope. I just know that in 83 days, the philosophy that Eric has, we're beyond that. We just can't do that.
But let me ask you a question, Jody.
We are where we are.
Right, but here's the question I want to ask you, right? So we understand that change is going to happen incrementally everywhere, right? So
right.
In terms of starving this, so I look at it as a beast, and I'm saying you can either feed it or starve it. And what you're saying is, you know what? Because we can't accomplish this big goal in 83 days. Let's feed the beast, and let's hope it doesn't lop our heads off in the end. So we're gonna.
That's so unfair to say. You know why? Because who you got?
No.
Thank you.
But
Thank you.
But listen.
Thank you.
Let's be realistic, right? If you don't have anyone, if we don't have an agenda right now, right this day, right this second, then that's just unrealistic. I'm not.
I don't think it is.
Beats, right? I'm just trying to get rid of that beat.
That beat. Thank you.
Wow.
But
understand what you're doing
Jody,
by getting rid of that beast. You're
just trying to get rid of.
Right.
What are you getting rid of? Right.
You said,
but Jody, what are you getting rid of? We're getting rid of.
States that we've been since the Great Depression. That is not just going to affect Black people, but most often affects us first, right? If we're in the worst economic times than we've been in the Depression, who?
Black people? Wait a minute, Black people. Let's talk about Black people.
Left my house.
Wait a minute.
Right? I just left my house, but I had to stay a little late because my baby had her first day of school on a effing computer in my effing living room, where the vice principal and the principal of the 8th grade and the assistant manager of the 8th grade basically said, "Hey, we ain't got it ready yet. First day of school. We ain't really ready right this second, but as we go along in the next 30 days, we're going to get out the glitches." Listen, my kid ain't got time for that. And that president put me right here. He put me right here in this space, and he don't give a damn. When the president of the United States says, "I'm going to revise the whole postal system," just so when you talked about the self-interest of Miss Warren, I'm going to revise the whole structure of the post office so Negroes can't vote for that person. There's something wrong with that. There's something innately wrong with that, and we have to get rid of that beast. Because when you talk about, hey, 30, we can't talk about Donald Trump because he's only been there for 3 years and we got 400 years of that, right? Isn't he stoking us backwards? Isn't there no trajectory for us to go forward? He's stoking a whole entire nation backwards, right? I do agree with you, Eric. I do agree that our interest is always on the back burner. I do agree that there has to be something done, ready, but I do blame it on Black folks. Black folks,
right?
Black folks somebody move us forward. We move each other.
So here's what I want to say.
Jody,
and then you can have it. 2 seconds. So I want you to understand this.
All in every city, holding Black people down right there in the space.
But what I want
Jody, and that's the whole thing.
All right, wait a minute.
That's the whole thing that we have to deal with.
All right.
Let someone else speak.
Yeah,
right?
Vincent.
Jody, simple question. Okay, if you look at the history of the man that they're trying to put in as president now, and I'm looking at his history as a representative of Delaware, and I look at the stats and the numbers for Delaware for Black people in that state for the 40 years that he represented it. Okay, including years in which he was vice president. Blacks in that state fared worse than any other group in the state.
Okay, we had the worst health care. We had the worst property ownership, the worst pay, the worst everything. The highest incarceration, everything. How do you believe that a man that couldn't help his own state get a better position for black people or a better situation for to now do it in this entire country? Now, and here is, so please don't answer. Let the woman who I asked answer. Until your name turns into Jody Pittman, don't answer. Please, let Jody answer. And then after Jody, would it be okay if I say something?
Well, yeah, but he asked Jody a question.
Okay.
Go ahead,
That's
Jody.
all I want to say. Go ahead, Jody.
I'm not surprised by those numbers, right? I'm not surprised about anything. I really, Farrakhan, when I'm telling you that I'm trying to be as realistic as I possibly can, right? I'm not going to say it's because he's white. Because right there in the city you living in, with that black mayor you got right there, same numbers, same data, same everything, and throw a little bit of dirty water on that. So, like, you got to pour a little bit of dirty, filthy water on that, lied to the people, told them it was clean, right? That's just where we are. But can we now, right, no matter who they put into office, no matter who wins, can we hold them accountable, Farrakhan? Can we throw to Joe Biden now those numbers that you just spoke? Yes, what I do believe is, too, I just believe we can maybe squeeze a little more out of that Biden dude than that orange dude, because that orange dude just stood on television on several occasions. I'm going to keep saying this and said, we want to keep you Negroes in North too. We don't want you to jury on out into any other communities.
Got it.
Like way beyond
all right.
where we even are as a nation, right?
Right.
I'm just saying.
Got it. So I want. Let Vincent. Go ahead, Vincent. Go ahead.
Now, we want to sit up here
Don't
yell.
yell.
I'm not yelling. I'm saying we want to sit up here and say, and we talked about it, and I do not disagree that blacks are at the bottom of the totem pole, okay? And the man and Joe may or may not, depending on the data that he has, is responsible for the state of Delaware. But we're talking about the city. We're talking about the state of New Jersey. We're talking about our country, and we're talking about the simple fact of this. We've always been 300 years of this oppression. Now we got somebody who says that who's standing in the position to liberate us. Why are we going to use the oppression status when we're already oppressed? When we got a person right there who is looking to give us that liberation, there can't be a bigger Negro whisperer than saying don't vote for Joe Biden.
All right, so
Let
me.
So what you just said, Vince, I'm gonna say I gotta hang up, but before I hang up, this is what I'm gonna say to you, Vince. If I can't cut hair in my barbershop, I damn sure can't cut hair nowhere else. Yeah, but you can't cut hair in your barbershop. He couldn't fix Delaware. If he couldn't help Delaware be better for black people, he damn sure can't help this country.
Right.
Yes. And I hope you're listening. And let me address that. You can't cut your hair in your barbershop is not by the hands of Joe Biden.
Right.
It's by Donald Trump.
All right. So here's what I'm gonna say, and this is how I see it. And I keep using this the experiment of the frog in a boiling water, right? And I think that black Americans, and tell me if you disagree with this, we have been in a slow boil and dying, right? Just a slow boil, let it feel comfortable, right? And all we really want to do right now is get back to that slow comfort of dying. We feel agitated that the heat has been turned up. But nobody's talking about getting us out of the pot. They're just going to turn it down so we feel comfortable dying. Right now, there's some people who feel uncomfortable because of shit that they see on TV or words that they hear, some emotionalism about whatever. But we're still dying. And nobody's talking about us not dying. It's just the rate at which we believe that we're dying. But we've always been dying. So this guy, Joe Biden, you say, well, you know what? We feel a little more comfortable with him because he's going to turn the freaking heat down. Because Donald Trump turned it up. And now it's boiling. And we feel the heat. But Joe Biden, to Farrakhan's point, ain't nobody saying Joe Biden's going to get us out of the pot. Right? Nobody's saying Joe Biden's going to turn the flame off. You just believe that he's going to turn it down to a level where you were comfortable before. but that level of comfort that you thought you were experiencing was leading us to zero wealth in 2053. That's what I'm saying. We got to get out the goddamn pot. So this idea of going, well, you know what? We got to get that guy out. Why? Because you feel a little uncomfortable. Wait a minute. Let me finish. But your level of discomfort, it has to do with the fact that for all of these years, you've been primed. So all these underlying conditions that are leading to the disproportionate deaths in COVID-19, that's somebody else doing that to you based on the fact that you in a slow boil in this goddamn pot. But you want to look at Donald Trump and say, well, it's him that turned the heat up. No, it's the slow boil. Your ass has been tenderized for 397 years, and now you want to blame this guy. No.
So can I ask you a question?
Go ahead.
If someone said, because I'm curious to know in that conversation, if someone said to you, right today, right this second,
it's hard to hear you,
right
Jody.
now,
I know you got a mask on, but it's hard to hear you.
okay. If someone said to you today,
Mm-hmm.
right now, right in this space, Eric, what is the answer, right? Not giving the analysis of it, right? But what is the answer? What can we do in these 83 days that makes us not susceptible to dying, not choosing to die, as you put it, right?
Right.
What's the answer, Eric, that we can do in 83 days?
I'll give you the answer.
Tell me.
I'll give you the answer. So the first answer is vote down ballot. Second answer is starve the beast. Because we know if we feed them, then all it's going to do is metastasize. And then the down ballot that we need to deal with becomes harder. Right? Because if we feed this beast that you're saying we should feed, all it's going to do, because it's in its nature to do it, is to support the down ballot races that we need to be fighting against. So we need to start.
So can I ask you, because I just so that I understand, are you talking about local elections? And
so I'm saying that if we support Biden, right? I know Biden's gonna come and campaign for Murphy. I know Biden's going to campaign for Cory Booker. I know Biden's going to campaign for Donald Payne. I know Biden's going to campaign for all these cancers in my community. I know that. And so you're saying to me right now, you know what? Vote for him, support him, and then fight him later. I'm going, no, kill him off now. Right? So now you kill him off. We can now fight against the Cory Bookers and the Donald Paynes and the Phil Murphys. Hold on one second, Vincent. You got to stay on the line. I can't I can't interrupt like that. So you're saying to me, support the guy or support the party that's going to ultimately try to kill me off in my neighborhood, right? And I'm going, no, I can't do that. That guy's going to come to Newark. He's going to come to New Jersey. So right after we go vote for him in November, you go do this now. But I'm going, that guy is going to be all up and down New Jersey. Right? So now when we go and say, well, you know what? Now let's go find a candidate. I want you to understand this logic. Let's go find a candidate to go up against Murphy. Right? Then Biden's going to take all the money that Vincent said was raised through Obama, right? That's $7 million. All that money, they're going to take that and they're going to weaponize it, right? To go against whoever we support in New Jersey against Phil Murphy. They're going to weaponize it to make sure that Donald Payne stays in office. They're going to weaponize it to make sure Cory Booker elevates in the Democratic Party. That's what they do.
Well, thank you, Eric. You proved my point. Okay? The immediate goal, as I said before, let's turn down the heat. Long-term goal, let's focus now on next 2 years.
What?
That's all I'm saying.
No.
And I appreciate it.
No,
yeah, I mean,
that's not what I'm saying.
I
don't know what you're listening to, but that's not what I said. That's not what I said at all.
Okay, well then this is the point.
Don't mischaracterize what I said.
Then this is the point, Eric. Let's turn down the flame, and while we're getting that flame turned down on the national level, let us now keep our foot on the gas to get these other SOBs out. And in the next 4 years, because we can't predict what Biden's going to do in his term, just like we couldn't predict that we be out here wearing a mask.
What?
The next 4 years
Listen, do you know
of Biden.
how crazy that is?
Wait, no,
So
can I finish? Can I finish, please? Okay, we can't predict what Biden's going to do. All right, but we do know where we are right now. If he can alleviate that, let's do it. Keep our foot on the gas and keep moving forward. And when he proves to be the same old Joe that everybody's talking about, then we vote him out.
You say
That's
moving
the beauty
forward.
of it.
Black people have not been moving forward. Stop
Eric,
using the
people have
wrong
not been
language.
moving.
What are you
They have
talking
not.
about?
I'm not disagreeing with that point. What I'm saying right now is this: black people are being stagnated at a huge rate than the norm.
So let me ask you a question. Just basic, right? So when Cory Booker gets ready to run for re-election again, and Menendez, right, runs for re-election again because they're propping up all of this craziness too, where's the money going to come from to support their campaign?
Well, it comes from people who want change, people who have been moving to change.
No,
That's where it comes
wait.
from.
You didn't even hear my question. You're so fixated on your own shit. You didn't even hear it. Wait. So the people who are wait a minute. So you're telling me the people who are voting for Cory are voting because they want change? That's what you just said.
No.
You didn't hear my question.
No,
My
the people who are going to support is going to be the same big pharma that supports Cory
Right.
Booker.
So
it's going to be the same billionaires that have supported him.
So it's going to be the same farmer that's supporting Biden, right? Right? Come on, follow me. It's going to be the same farmer that's supporting Biden. So now,
I can't say that because I don't know who's all on his donor list.
oh come on, stop it now. So
Are you saying what Diane been talking about on social media all weekend? So are you saying that Trump is the lesser of two evils?
No. You're missing my point. I'm not talking about Trump at
you
all.
don't get to do that, right? Listen, it's only two, right? I get you. And when you said it out initially, my response was, Jody, pray on what he said, because I honestly, I agree with you. I understand politics in that way, right? That President Biden wins, Democrat, so he owes New Jersey governor and he owes Cory the senator. I get it, right? And I think that all of those people are shitty. I think that your governor is shitty and your senator is shitty and most of your mayors are shitty. I get that. So at first I'm like, well, guess what? That is a good point, right? But there's only two people. There's only two people on that presidential ballot. Kanye West is a joke, right? There's only two, the Democratic Party and the Republican Party. So if you're saying that, then Eric, you have to be honest in saying that Trump in your world is the lesser of two evils.
No, it has nothing to do. No, I'm not. No, you're missing my point. No, this has nothing to me, Jody. To me, it has not. And I've always said this. This has nothing to do with Trump for me. It really doesn't. It has to do with me understanding how politics works. It has to do with me understanding how this thing is structured. And so what they do is they create this false choice for you, which always leads you back to, well, who's the least lesser of the two evils? I'm like, I'm not going down that rabbit hole anymore. I understand it. And so for me, it's about, if I support this thing is coming to kill me. I know that. I know that as soon as I push the lever for Biden is coming to New Jersey to destroy me by way of supporting all of the failed leadership here. That's what he's coming to do. And so now if I understand that that's what he's going to do, right? You say to me, well, you know what? Support him, breathe life into him, and then fight him later. And I'm saying, wait, no, I want to kill him now.
We can't kill him now. That's the whole point, Eric.
What?
When we kill him, Trump wins.
No, we can kill him. You just said we can kill him. You said we can. You said, but if we do, Trump wins. But Trump's not my issue. Know what my issue is? My issue is Donald Payne. My issue is Cory Booker. My issue is Phil Murphy. Those people are my issues.
But we're not saying that you can't go after them.
No, you
what we're
can't.
talking about is that.
But you're missing the point again. So you're saying to me again, you know what? Strengthen the machine that's going to support them, and then fight them. That's what you're saying.
You know what?
Strengthen the machine that's going to support them.
You know why? I'm going to go to work, right? That's Eric's interest. And I do believe in this. Vote your interest, whatever it is. I can't, because if we don't, like, that's not my interest. I don't live in New Jersey. I don't have a Cory Booker. I live in a state that is a large part Republican all the way down. Moving a little bit, because now this is my home. But at the end of the day, that's your issue. What I would say to you, Eric, is keep it at your issue. It shouldn't be. I don't feel like it's even fair when you talk about it then to make it a national issue.
I'm not making it. No, it's not a national issue. Right? It's local. Right. All politics are local.
In your backyard.
Right. I've always said that. All politics are local. Right. So you should be making decisions that are going to directly impact, which is why I say, you know what? The decisions that the governor made here, the decision that around COVID-19, we need to be looking at, right? People in New York need to look at the decision that Cuomo was making. They need to be looking at the decisions that that their congressmen and women are making around these issues. They need to be looking at the decisions that that the assembly folks are making. They need to be looking at all of that. And I'm saying that and understand this, that if you say that all of your local and state government is failing, this guy who you want to support is going to pour hundreds of millions of dollars into that failed system that you then want to go fight against. That's what I'm saying. So my fight is with them. So I'm not going to prop up somebody who's going to ultimately feed the beast that I got to go to war with.
Well, and Eric, it's not like we don't understand your ideology. What we're saying to you right now, okay, let us turn down the temperature, and then let us gear for the next fight.
No, what you're saying is you're not respecting his choice. And
I'm respecting his choice.
You are not respecting his choice when you're telling somebody what they should do and how they should use their vote. That's what you're doing.
No, that's not what I'm doing. I said that I understand his ideology, and I respect his opinion and his choice.
And
okay,
Diane, you're wrong, Diane. He's not saying that he doesn't respect his choice. He's saying that he's still a slave.
And I'm not saying that I'm still a slave.
That's because I'm still a slave. And I only call back to say one thing. To Jody, I don't know if she's still on, but the only reason a guy like Kanye West is a joke is because the media has told you that is. The people who don't have your interest.
No, the only reason that Kanye West is a joke.
Finish. Please let me finish. Because you can't consider Kanye West any more a joke than the current president we have. So it is possible that a Kanye West, if Donald Trump can be president, if Ronald Reagan, the B-rated actor that he was, is the president and a governor, if what's the dude, Arnold Schwarzenegger, to be the governor of the most populated state in this country, don't tell me that a young Kanye West can't. So that's what I'm saying. He's not a joke. Right? He's a joke because the system told you to stay.
My point, right? See, when Kanye West came out and said he was running for president, you know what I said? I reverted right back to the other joke. See, once we get Trump in, everybody can run for president. Hell, I could run for president and win and do a better job.
But you say once we get Trump, you can say that about Ronald Reagan. You understand what I'm saying? You're saying what you Trump? No,
I'm not talking about Ronald Reagan because we ain't talking about Ronald Reagan, right? We're talking about this is the only thing that I don't understand, right? I'm right here in this moment. 83 days, I'm right here in this space, right? Ronald Reagan was an asshole. The two Bushes, we could do that. All I'm saying to you is today, right? I'm not saying that Kanye West is a joke because of the media. I hate when people say that to me. I feel like you could say that to a lot of other people, but I know history. I am not a believer of anything, and I have a disorder that I'm just oppositional to most things on most days just because I feel like that's the only way I'm going to get to the truth is just to oppose something. So no, I'm not a TV watcher. I don't even have time to watch TV. I'm not a TV watcher. Kanye West running for president is a joke to me because Kanye West is not healthy, right? And I understand when someone is not healthy, it's so easy to be used. I've been there, done that, seen it.
Lovely. And to that, all I can say is the only reason you say he's not healthy is because of the media.
No, not because he has a mental disorder. I work in a mental
disorder. Who said he has a mental disorder?
No, what the media is saying about Kanye
disorder.
Who says he has a mental disorder?
He did.
He did, and he's been taking meds since his mother passed away.
And he said that, not the media. He said that.
He said that.
Look at it, Google it, right? Kanye West. But that doesn't mean, ready? Just because you have a mental disorder doesn't mean you can't function in this country and anywhere else very healthy and do great things and be a great person, right? But his behavior, much like the president we have right now, his behavior makes me question who he is. And does he really stay on the meds? And do he drop the meds? And if he dropped the meds, do we get the push of the red button? Nobody has time for that because, as Eric said, we're behind the 8 ball. We're going to be poor by 2053. Like all of this, right? We don't have time for that. We don't have time for games and plays and a Kanye West. No one has time for that, right? So that's why I say Kanye West is a joke. Not because he's young, not because he's coming from another space and he's never been. No, Donald Trump has proven to the entire world, not just the United States, that anybody can run for president and anybody can win. But what he's also proven and fuck it up. Period. End of story. There's no argument we're having, and I'm like so excited now to have a better perspective of where Eric is, right? Because I understand it, and I'm so glad that he eloquently put it out there that his for his interest, for his community, for his home, he can't support Joe Biden, and I'm not going to try to argue him down and tell him he's wrong for that because I'm voting my interest. And I expect him to vote his.
Absolutely.
I expect every American to vote
That's
his.
right.
I just don't want to hear things like, I don't like the theory of let's not talk about Donald Trump because that's who's running for president right now, and I'm caught in that moment. So if I'm going to say that Biden, and I can say this, but I would push the lever, remember, for Donald Duck against Donald Trump. So it doesn't really matter to me who's running against Donald Trump. I'll push any lever to get rid of that man. Because in my world, with a kid, so, and I've been meaning to say this. So Eric has 2 daughters, and he has a son.
I have 3 daughters.
They've gone through 3 daughters, right? They've gone through grammar school, Diane as well. They've gone to middle school, thank the Lord. They've gone through high school. They've graduated college. They're out there in there. He can't really effectuate their lives much. I got a 13-year-old. He has turned her life upside down. I have other interests than Eric does. I'm fighting not for me. I don't even give a damn at this point about the ballot. I don't even care who's running my state right now. You know what I care about? How in the hell is my kid going to make it out of this? How in the hell is she going to get to where Eric's daughter got to be? How am I going to get my daughter to UPenn?
I appreciate that.
With this idiot running me into the ground. How am I going to get my daughter into American University like Diane with this idiot running my kid into the ground? My interest is to get rid of him. And that's a big interest when you're talking about parents, when you're talking about, like I said, my baby looking at a computer screen in my living room this morning. I had my interest. Eric had his. Yo, I love this show. It was good talking to you. And Diane, I love the trouble you cause on social
Wait a
media.
minute, Joe, before you hang up, my aunt, I had switched over right before, clicked over. My aunt had called and said, girl, if you don't vote for Joe Biden,
You ain't black.
she ain't even on Facebook. She said, girl, if you don't vote for Joe Biden, I said, calm down. She said, you got the whole family upset. People over here is talking. We been on a phone. I said, y'all gonna calm down. If y'all follow everything else I have said, then maybe we wouldn't be in this problem to begin with.
Right, there we go.
Instead of
And union is so important, Diane, and creating a space where you throw something out there and it formulates a conversation that's so necessary, right? I respect that even if we may not agree on everything, but as you see, people are coming into your space, arguing those arguments, and that's the only way we're going to move forward, right? Is if we continue to throw things at the wall, argue amongst each other, figure out where we are. Eventually, you're going to be able to print out those posts and come up with a plan.
Absolutely.
I think that's important. You guys have a good day, okay?
Thanks. We're at 12 o'clock.
Now, if I can, because I've let everybody, it's 12 o'clock.
Time to go.
Go ahead, Vincent. No, go ahead. Vincent?
You know, the reason that people, the media, especially black media, have been all over Kanye is the fact that everybody knows that Donald Trump sent his lawyer to do his campaign. Donald Trump is sending his lawyers for him to get on the ballot. He is there to separate or to split the black vote and allowing Donald Trump again to win. That was the whole issue with Kanye.
Okay.
Other than that, he wants to run, let him run. But run for that reason that he wants to be president, not be Donald Trump's puppet.
All right. Thank you guys for tuning in. Enjoy the day. It's a beautiful day. I couldn't believe how chilly it was this morning when I was leaving the bakery. I had the windows rolled down. I was on the parkway doing 110. I mean, doing 50.
Throwing your coffee beans at people?
No, cranberries.
Cranberries.
Coffee beans are too expensive. Anyway, guys, thank you all for tuning in. I am deliriously tired. I'm getting ready to go to sleep. Good night.
Have a great day.
You too. Bye-bye.